Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another round of Sheik vs. Falco analysis. And this time we're going to be focusing on Plup-Roonies. Good old Plupskis. And I'm going to bring up this note. There we go. That should fit. That fits nicely. So we're going to be looking at, well, the things I'm most interested in right now are how Plup gets out of the corner. Because I feel like a lot of this like in a big counterplay to lasers in this matchup is just dashing back. So naturally that ends up putting you in the corner more often than not. So I'm interested in seeing how he gets out of there. Interested in seeing how he uses aerials to pressure Falco, both short hop aerials and aerials off the platforms. Like push short hop aerials and aerials off the platforms. And then I'm also curious about how he handles lasers. So actually, I'm going to keep this as a general notepad, so that way I can write it down later in my notebook, which is very important. But the first thing that pops up is that Plup ends up on the top platform, falls down, has center, then immediately spaces a fair designed to catch. I believe designed to trade with Falco if he tries to aerial, if he tries to nair a dare off the platform. Then he messes up his movement, and he finds himself in this situation where he's under threat of Falco, because like he's in Falco's threat range, because at this range Falco can safely shoot a laser without being punished for it. Because like he has to be kind of like right about here in order to get grabbed for shooting a laser, and then later percents get dash attack for shooting a laser. So he's more likely not going to shoot a laser here, or potentially even dash back if he thinks that Plup is going to go forward with the boost grab or a short hop forward aerial. But he decides to laser, and Plup sees his spacing, sees that if he lasers, he'll be in a needle range. So he throws needles, and then that creates this space. So this means that Plup can now start fighting for center and take control of center. So that's a note. Needles from the corner. Full hop needles from the corner. Can help. Corner can threaten while putting you in a safe position. Ah, God. More likely than not earning you stage in the process. Because Falco has to move back in order to avoid needles. So then you get this kind of situation where you can move off the platform and start fighting for center stage effectively. I'm going to take a drink of water. So Plup then lands again at laser spacing. And when I say laser spacing, I just mean the spacing where Falco can shoot a laser safely. So it like extends from pretty much like right about here to right about all the way here. Because like Plup can drop forward and fair here, which is something you'll see Swedish and Face Roll do a lot. Because that way, if you drop forward and fair, then you can jump over laser and hit Falco for lasering. And you can also if you use short hop back especially, you can also beat a dare or a nair because you go above the dare and nair. So Sheik's short hop is actually favorable for engaging Falco in that way, because he has to be very precise with how he uses his aerials in order to hit Sheik out of the air. But Plup just decides to dash dance in place. And it's here, dash dance is in place, because at the same time, this is also fair range for Plup. At the same time, if Falco takes a step forward right here, like if he takes a dash forward, he also is at his dare range, or well, he's also at his dare range. So that makes a threat. That makes this position actually threatening for both players here, which is why Plup decides to dash dance. Because if Falco decides to shoot a laser, Falco, like Swedish can just, I mean not Swedish, Plup can just shield it and act as a shield. If he decides to dash forward and throw an aerial, he can whiff punish it. And if Falco decides to dash dance, they're basically just like back to square one. So he dashes back, sees that Falco is jumping. So at this point, it's like with this shield, he's reacting to Falco putting himself in the air. He's not necessarily reacting to the laser, like to the laser coming out. He's more so reacting to the possibility of a laser or aerial, which is why he shields right here. And then if Falco lasers in a pretty good position, because one thing that a lot of like Sheiks like to do is they'll either short hop nair out here, or they'll shield grab here. But actually, Falco crosses them out with the laser, dashes through and jump cancel shines. And there's also something else too Sheiks do a lot. When Falco crosses you up with an aerial or with a shine, then you wave dash away and then dash back in, like wave dash away and then go in with the boost with the grab to try and whiff punish the aerial or the laser, the shine. So when Falco crosses you up, wave dash away, crosses you up with an aerial or shine, crosses your shield up with an aerial or shine, wave dash away, into you, grab, dash attack, can punish him. Not necessarily punish him, but can hit him. Because it's not like a true punish. Because you'll see that Plup is able to go for this grab because NY Joey decides to go for more shield pressure. So I guess that's another thing to note. Wave dash away also avoids a late aerial from Falco, which is what you then whiff punish. So we're trying to grab it, doesn't work out. And this is another situation that really interests me. Because Plup sees that he has favorable position on Falco. Because he can drop through and bear Falco's shield right here. But at the same time, if Falco wave dashes forward, he gets under the bear. And he can then crouch cancel it. So then you see Plup doing this kind of shield drop fake, where he baits out a jump. He baits out Falco to jump because Falco sees that he's in shield drop bear range. So he then jumps, and then Plup. I mean, this is kind of. I feel like it's kind of a combination of read and reaction. Because Plup sees when he lands, when he wave lands, he's already moving. So I think this is him intending to either do a low nair if Falco stays in shield, or also then do this fairly does if Falco moves to platforms. So then again, top plat. So then our note can be used in neutral. Top plat can be used in neutral to find runoff aerials on Falco, as well as to bait him to full hop up to try and chase you. And the neutral is something I'm gonna try and get into in later videos. I'm gonna try and get into that once I analyze some Swedish versus Ginger, or some Captain Face Roll versus Bimbo. Or like, I guess maybe Plup versus Mango, but Plup and Mango both play like kind of unconventional styles of their characters. But maybe. Anyways, so we get the fair. And this nair right here is really interesting. This nair right here is really interesting because I think Plup is reacting to Falco being in shield right here. So he's trying to he's reacting to Falco being in place right here. I don't think he's reacting to the he might be reacting to the shield. Yeah, I think he's reacting to the shield. And throwing a snare out that stuffs Falco if he tries to laser or like jump in general out of shield. It ends up putting him in the corner though. And then this is also another good interaction to look at because at close range Falco Plup shields a laser. When Plup gets hit by a laser, at shine range, I guess that's a better, more succinct way to put it. He shields, and then when he shields a laser, he then nairs out because in this position, I think. Actually, is this Falco's landing right here? Okay, no, this is his landing. So Falco then... So basically, unless Falco is like frame perfect, he and Sheik basically jump on the same frame. So if Sheik does a frame perfect nair here, then she beats out Falco's aerial as well as this grab. That's something important to note. When Falco lasers your shield at close range... When Falco lasers your shield at close range, the only option to really be concerned about is shine, since your beats out aerials and grab. And there also interacts favorably with Falco. Shine, since the airborne hit is harder to follow up off of. Man, this is gonna be it. This is gonna take me a while to write down in my good old notebook. But nair doesn't work out because Falco's not knocked 10%. I assume Plup was trying to fair there. He was just caught by the shine, which happens. And then he's able to get all of this off it. And again, Plup goes for this narrative shield. I feel like he may have thought that that Falco was at knockdown percent. So that might be the reason for going for that nair. But it ends up getting him punished. And he then gets killed off of it. Actually, I think that was actually really good space, like really good, like spacing on the poof by Plup because I think he was about to reach Randall. Then he reacts to the fire, to the up B, and goes for a nair. He almost gets to the edge guard. And then this bear out of the corner is really interesting because like again in this situation where where Plup is at like Falco's aerial range, it's really important to avoid it by any means possible. I mean, I guess you can turn around Nair here, like short hop Nair to trade with his aerials, and just send him into the corner of the stage. But the bear that Plup does right here allows him to both hit Falco if he decides to come in with an aerial, as well as hit him for standing in place. Because if he does this bear right here, if he inputs on this frame, then he'll hit Falco's head instead of just phantoming. And that's also a really important interaction to be aware of. That when you short hop Rising Bear or full hop Rising Bear against Falco, if you do the input perfectly, then you'll hit his head. Whereas like if you play against like Fox, for example, it won't hit his head because he's so short. But I already have this written down in my notebook, so I'm not gonna make a note. I guess I could make a note because this bear also puts him on the platform, which is a really strong position for Sheik. Yeah, it takes Falco if he stays in place while also avoiding any aerial Falco can throw, and it puts him on the platform. So that I think nicely sums up. White is so good. Then he whiff punishes. Perfect tech chase. Perfect edge guard. And I'm not sure. I don't think he would have been able to get this edge guard if he grabbed the ledge after wave dashing back. But he got it. Well, this is another cool interaction. Because Plup sees that he's at this spacing again. So if he short hop Nairs, or if he full hops Needles here, which he does, then he simultaneously avoids Falco putting an aerial out right here, while also threatening Falco. If you dash stances in place. Let's make a little diagram. So I'll mark Falco's threat range in red. So Falco has this range covered, but if Swedish has this range covered, but Plup can full hop to the platform and threaten this needle angle right here, while also avoiding this threat range just by full hopping up. So it makes this full hop really good thing to take a note of. And then when Falco gives him center stage, Plup charges Needles, sees the shield. I think that's what he was reacting to here. Yeah, I think he's reacting to the shield. He decides to take space with a run off fair. That also beats Falco for doing an aerial in, which doesn't really make sense here, but it is a good way to protect yourself for really no cost. Because if you do the fair perfectly, you auto cancel it. So there's really no difference between just landing on the stage with the fastball and actually fairing down. And we get lasered. And Plup, when he gets this laser, when he gets hit by this laser, sees that it's very good for him to pause on. So Plup sees that if he needles, his angle is gonna reach like right about there, I think. Maybe that's ugly. This would reach right about there. So you can't actually threaten Falco in this position with the full hop needle. But what he can do is move up to to right outside Falco's short aerial range. So right about here. And then pressure Falco by dashing forward at him and threatening boost grab, while also avoiding any potential aerial. Now this also puts him in a good position to threaten the grab on Falco's lasers. It puts him in a position where he can kind of like predict Falco lasering, like in place right here, and then go up and grab him. So of course, he dashes forward to that spacing, to right here, and he dash dances to try and bait out a short hop aerial from Falco. Where's my notepad? So at 0:55, Plup shield the laser at full screen, and wave dashes forward, out of shield to right. We can threaten a boost grab. Avoid a Falco aerial. And threaten Falco boost grab. Threaten boost grab, avoid a Falco aerial. And I guess threatening a boost grab on the laser is also a threatening grab. We can threaten boost grab and avoid a Falco aerial. When he gets hit by a laser, and these lasers are something I really want to focus on, especially because like in my scene, the Falco I want to beat shoots a ton of lasers, and he's not lame, but I mean he's kind of lame. he's a little bit of a lame Falco, but that's okay. So Plup sees this position, or Falco can just dash forward and aerial him from where he is right now. And he decides to leave dash back to avoid threat from aerial. Plup gets hit by a laser. And Falco's dash forward. I guess at dash forward at short aerial range. And wave dashes back to avoid that threat range. Which I think puts him in a bad spot because the Falco decides to do something that is pretty advantageous against just Plup wave dashing back. But if you look at the situation, what you can do if you expect Falco to throw a laser is, especially if he's a knockdown percent, you can just you can just F tilt on reaction. I'm actually gonna bring up what's a good do I have this? Yeah, I have it. Okay. Oh, I have. Okay. Oh, hold on. Have to gain laser, double jump out. On ground, F tilt to beat Falco doing a late aerial or lasering forward. Dash slash, and then the other thing we saw from that Plup just did was dash to wave dash back. To beat. I mean, I guess it's not necessarily going even with Falco dash dancing. I guess just the Falco dash dancing. because Falco dash dances to get around threat of boost grab or dash attack, because those are both very real options in this situation. Because if Falco does the laser in place, and you boost grab here, then you can just get tagged by laser, you can get tagged by down air in place. Dash dancing / aerialing in place. And then you can then just dash dance, see that Falco is throwing an aerial, and then just react to it with the dash dance grab. I'm gonna have to choose some new music. Apologies. Let me get... Okay, there we go. So we lay dash back, and then when we see Falco right next to us, you can nair here like we saw Plup did earlier, but that's generally at later percents, because like we saw with Plup, like we saw earlier, if you nair in place, if you nair forward here, like if you nair drift forward, then you're still only around half of Falco, so you pretty much have to nair and then drift back. But then that puts Falco in a position to just set up pressure on your landing anyways. So what Plup does instead here is just rising bear to the platform. And something also that you might see Sheiks do is full hop, do the same full hop that he does here, but in full hop nair to the platform. Because that simultaneously hits Falco while also avoiding any, while also getting around the issue of not knocking Falco down, because it puts you on the platforms instead of putting you on the ground, of course. So that 057 hit by a laser has shine range and rising to platform. Work better here. And it's more likely to hit. And again, we see that when Plup lands at this sort of spacing, where Falco is safe to shoot a laser, that he then also moves up. He kind of sets up a position where he moves into Falco's threat range, but he does it while staying in shield. Because in this position, if Falco does a rising aerial on you, then you can just either nair it to grab it, or you just wave dash back, or like wave dash shield and grab it. So you see him shielding at this spacing, and then entering Falco's shot aerial range, but doing it while shielded. So I guess I'll also note that this is going to be a lot. This is going to be a lot for me to write down. So Plup sees Falco at full screen, and this is like a main neutral tool against Falco. Dashes forward into shield. Falco's aerial range to close space. Shielding goes even with Falco lasering in place. Also allowing you to nair Falco for throwing an aerial into / past your shield. I guess throwing a rising aerial would be more accurate. And we see this interaction happen. We see Falco seeing Plup dash forward and deciding to throw out an aerial to try and stop him. And the reason it's so effective is because like the dash forward beats out an aerial from Falco while the shield actually defends it. Which makes it really hard for Falco to actually engage you. Because on the same token, if he goes for a later aerial, set up more safe shield pressure, then she can just nair at it. Like she can just nair, like Plup does here, and she can also just like wave dash forward or wave dash forward to just cross up Falco. Yeah. And here we see, I think this is sharp aerial spacing again. Yeah, this is sharp aerial spacing. So we see Plup just full hopping to the platform and getting out of the situation entirely. This is gonna be a lot to write down. Like one, I think I'm just gonna analyze only this game because this is already a lot of analysis. A 1 at 1 minute. Plup gets lasered at Falco's aerial range, and is he needle to the platform? Oh, he double jumps to the platform. Interesting. Full hop. I was gonna say full hop. Use Falco for beat Falco staying lasering. While also putting Sheik in good position. Falco lasering again, or DDing, or dash dancing in place. This is gonna be a lot to write down. We see Plup not even bothering. So I think at this point he's established that Falco's just going to sit in the corner and start only trying to laser him. So he's totally fine just charging needles because he knows that Falco isn't going to actually chase him. Also, I don't see Falco doing full hop lasers to snipe Sheik while she's charging needles, which is something that a lot of Falcos do nowadays. Falco go to full screen, which lets him charge up. I'm curious about how Plup would handle the situation if he was getting lasered here. We see Plup landing at short hop aerial range, shielding as a response. Oh, that was a nifty little shindig. And this is the first short hopper forward fair that we've seen. But this is something that we'll see a lot of Sheiks do. They'll do this fair that goes over lasers and allows them to punish Falco for doing a short hop laser forward. I guess this is I guess this is like far mid-screen. Far mid-screen. And Plup does a short hop towards there. Falco's laser and punish him if he does a short hop. Yep. Oh, okay. Not gonna end on that one. Oh, that was really sweet. We see Plup. So basically, he's reacting to like this situation where he's in aerial range, where he's in Falco Stripe aerial range. So at 122. At slight disadvantage. And being under the plot. I flop needling to it, catching Falco for doing a dash dance into the laser. I think that's what this was. I'm pretty sure. But this is really sweet. This is so sweet by Plup. And again, like we saw Plup do earlier, when this situation happens and Falco was at close range, he nares out to stuff Falco. For doing a laser, like he does here, he just barely misses it. And Plup gets punched for coming down directly on top of Falco. Because while you do want to use the platform to set up favorable aerials, but at the same time it's really dangerous to actually put yourself above Falco and come down on top of him. Which is what Plup does here. Plup gets punched for trying to shield drop there. On top of Falco. And this is even though Plup has advantage, he still is unable to beat out the F tilt or the F tilt. I guess I should say getting up. He got up tilted. Gets up tilted. Oh, a little bit sloppy from both players right now. Well, he tries to go for the nair there, but gets caught. Because if Falco does a delayed aerial here instead of the second shine, then you can beat him. Like you can actually trade with, like, not trade. You just beat him. Yeah, you just beat him with the nair, which is what he tries to do here. but he gets punished for it. Oh, this is a really sweet little up air that Plup did here. Oh, that was almost sick. Oh, I should have up aired. And this is something that you'll see a lot, like when Falco gets on the platforms, like especially on the side plat. You can actually kind of bully him pretty hard, because if you're in front of him, like if he's facing towards you, he doesn't really have any good hitboxes for like actually contesting you. And if he's facing away from you, you can kind of dash under him and wait for like try and crouch cancel a weak backer if he does one. And he could nerf here, but he decides not to, just throw Needle Stack instead. So at 213, Plup sees Falco land in front of him with Dare while under the side plat and decides to swap Needle to the plat instead, taking a shot top there. Needles are high reward. Because you can run off Needle afterwards, or just there. While in there only gives you one hit. And they don't hit Falco. Oh, this is really cool. This is a Difty. I was sounding out. Well, this is also another attempt to beat out Falco lasering in place, or like coming forward with the laser. Because if he comes forward with the laser into those needles, and you just beat him really hard. A lot of the matchup revolves around being proactive with stopping lasers either through their needles or going to the platforms to get around them. Man, I want to play so mainly so bad after doing this analysis. And I already see again going to the side platform with some needles. Let's see what he's reacting to. So about average human reaction time is about 16 frames or so, like 15 and 16 frames. So we're going to go back 16 frames in the video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I guess he's just reacting to this spacing. Because if he jumps backwards and needles the platform, he covers about that range right there. So if Falco sees the situation and decides to shot forward laser here, because he can set up a favorable laser on Plup shield. Because if he shots forward in lasers, he lands it right about here, and which is then outside Sheik's aerial range, like his outside Sheik's snare range, so she can't really punish him for a laser if he lands right here. Which is then covered, and this space is then covered by potential short back needle to center, which is what Plup does. Oh, pull up, you dirty man. You monster. Oh, this is really illuminating. Just watching how often Plup is able to get above the lasers just by short hopping over them. He takes a stock. Playing around a possible shot forward aerial right there. Because if you look at the spacing, he way dashes back right at short aerial range for Falco. He's trying to beta like a dare out or a nair out. Then it's reacting, seeing the Falco staying in place. And coming in with a run cancel down tilt. Because when Falco is facing behind like this, when Falco's facing away from you like this, he can really only he really covers like kind of this space, right? Because of his back air and his up tilt. Actually, it's probably more like this space. But that's about. God, that's ugly. There we go. So it covers about that space. So if you dash forward and crouch into that, then you actually are able to shield the back air and shield that Falco could do. And if you do a run cancel down tilt, then you're automatically buffering ASTI down, so you can then handle Falco's short back air in that situation really easily. Oh, that was a nifty tech chase by Plup. Okay, so that does it. That's all I'm going to analyze actually like on recorded, just because I have to write down all of this in my notebook for retention, and that isn't good content. So that's going to be it. Thank you for tuning in. If you tuned in, love ya. Love Melee. Adios.